Just a small addendum to my last show that I should have mentioned, but the Aborigine guy did have a seizure, and he's full of shit. Now, if you guys go back, you remember when he was living with Barry, and I sent off an email to somebody that might have that information or even a video. The dude is lying, saying I never have seizures because he's afraid that, well, he wouldn't be able to come back into the country because this country won't allow anybody in here who has seizures. He did have a seizure. You remember when everybody was talking about blaming Barry for rolling him for about 400 US dollars equivalent? He did indeed have a seizure. He was on the floor and he was having a seizure. So that's an out and out lie. An outback lie is what it is. It's an outback lie. He did have a seizure, and that's when he was living with Barry. So, sir, you're very wrong about that. And why are you trying to hide it? You had a seizure, sir. Whether it was an epileptic seizure or whatever kind of seizure it was, he had a seizure. I was standing behind that. I remember all the hoopla about that. And if you guys have really been following all these clowns, you would know the same thing. The oh yeah, Jay was claiming on his show, and we're talking about Jay Stillman here. Jay claimed on his show that he did not have a seizure and he's never had seizures. But that's an out and out lie. He's had seizures before. I know of one anyway. He was living with Barry Jordan at the time, and he was on the floor. Everybody was talking about that at the time. So, Jay, you're full of shit, man. Oh, don't worry, Jay. I'm not going to go after you because you have seizures. Give it a rest. I'm just stating something to kind of accentuate your lies. Don't sweat your nuts off on that. But the point is, he did. Yeah, the Philippines classifies all seizures. I mean, if I had to, I would. And you know I would, Jay. I'm not making a big issue out of it right now, but give me a reason. But you did have seizures. Why are you lying to your audience about that? Allo and everybody knows about that. Popeye and everybody knows about that. It was a big thing at the time. You mean you're going to go on your fucking show and you're telling people that you've never had seizures, that you don't have epilepsy or anything like that? That's what you're going to tell people. When people have seen the show, it was big talk at the time. It was big talk. You got a seizure. Now, I don't wish seizures on you, Jay. I don't wish that on you. But don't lie about it. Admit it. I know you're afraid I'm going to use that against you to not come into the Philippines. What's according to what you fucking do with me? It's always good to have a tool. But I will tell you, you're lying through your alcohol breath when you got on your show, on your live show, your last live show, and you told people that you've never had seizures and that I'm a liar. Nope, that's not true. You did. So stop lying. Everybody remembers it. If I could produce a video in regards to that, I'll even do that too. Who remembers? Who remembers on here? Who's been following this thing for a long time? I'm not going to do a long show. Who actually remembers when he had a seizure? They made a big ado about that. I told you, what you got on here is fucking lies. Uh, excuse me. Okay, Anthony says, I remember that. Okay, anybody else who's willing to come forward and, because I'm making a liar out of the guy. Oh, he's making a liar out of himself. He indeed had a fucking seizure. That's what you call it. When you fall to the ground and you're uncontrolled and you're shaking and you're not conscious It's a seizure. Look it up. AJ Anthony says, especially the part where he believed that Barry ripped him. No, he changed his opinion since then. He said that Barry never ripped him off, is what he said. That was at the beginning of the end between Jay and Barry. Okay. Hey, I remember it. Jay, I'm going to tell you straight off, Mr. Jay Stillman, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. You're not the real deal. There's nothing real about you, man. You had a fucking seizure and you're lying about it. Hey, man, nothing to be embarrassed about. People have certain conditions. You know, nothing to be embarrassed about. But you had a fucking seizure. But you had the fucking guardians to get on your show and lie about it. Well, you're afraid about immigration letting you back in? Oh, I could use that as a tool if I want, Jay. We'll see if I need it. But I wrote to somebody to see if they have the footage on that. And if I get the footage, I will present it on here as to what happened. Yeah, somebody recalls here. Anyway, I don't have a lot of people on here, so I don't have a lot of people to go by. And I'll be off in a matter of seconds. But yeah, it is true. Jay did have a seizure. I remember that clear as day because that's what everybody was talking about. There are many reasons an adult has seizures for the first time. Yeah, there could be all kinds of reasons. It could be certain medications you're taking, and it could be a lot of things. But for him to just out and out lie like he's in the outback, you know, go box with a fucking kangaroo, man. Don't box with me. Because that's an out and out fucking lie. You had a seizure, Jay Stillman. You had a fucking seizure. Stop your fucking lying. You spent too much time with your friend Barry. The lies caught on. You had a fucking seizure. If Barry was to tell the truth, he would tell everybody that too. The only thing Barry denies is that he ripped Jay off of some money while he had his seizure. Because that was a big talk at the time. Supposedly that Barry had ripped him off of money while he was having a seizure and he was out of it. Jay denies that happening. AJ Anthony says, so for him to claim that there aren't any documentation in his Medicare file doesn't mean much at all. No, it don't. I care about your fucking Medicare file. Maybe it's not on your Medicare. Wouldn't have been anyway. Right, guys? Because he was in the Philippines when that happened. He was living with Barry. Why would his Medicare have any... You're full of shit, Jay. You are full of shit. Medicare is not going to have a record of that because you weren't using Medicare. It happened while you were in the Philippines living with Barry. God, you people are so fucking full of shit on here. Always trying to hide the truth. So what if you had a seizure? It happens to people. I'm not downing you for having a seizure, sir. It's unfortunate events that happen to some people, whether it's epilepsy or whatever it might be. Epilepsy seems to be one of the most common things or reasons for seizures, right? Yeah. Nothing to be embarrassed about. We're not telling you to be embarrassed about something. People have seizures, and the most common thing is epilepsy. You did. And you owe an apology to your viewers. Which is bullshit. You're sounding more like Barry. Well, I got documents. He never shows documents. Well, it's not going to be on your Medicare document, Jay Stillman. It wouldn't be. It happened in the Philippines. You don't use Medicare in the Philippines. So I caught you in a fucking out and out lie. That's all I got to say. Enough for today. You're a liar, man. You're a fucking liar. Jay had a seizure. Period. Liar.